How you doing, everyone? This is Cyber Behike Sanakori. Hope everyone's doing well. Here setting up for this live. Man, I'm just gonna wait a little bit for anyone to come in. Hello, how you doing? This is Sanakori. Hope everything's well with you. Yeah, you're the first one. How you doing? Are you a Taino? Or you're an ally? You're a guest? You're a friend? Relative? Don't be afraid to comment. Just waiting for some other people to come in. I'm in some technical difficulties with my stand here. Testing 1 2 3. Testing. Today I want to talk about something really cool. It's about Taino God, God. That's right, the famous Taino God. Is this Taino God different from any other God? We'll see. It's Patricia, Patty. I just changed users. Hey, what's up? How you doing? Hope everything's well. Where you from, Patty? Remind me again. Patty, Florida? I'm over here chatting about. That's right. I'm managing Florida. Remember? Oh man, hope you're well. I don't know if you saw some. I'm looking to reboot Survivor Network, Taino Survivor Network. Anyone who has any DNA, Taino DNA from 1492. It's called intergenerational trauma. Anyone experiencing trauma. I'm going to talk about this later. How we can reconnect once again. Sorry, man. I'm eating some popcorn here. This is some sacred food, popcorn. Very good. Back in the day, we called it popcorn. It's always good to eat popcorn when you're talking about God. If anyone has any snacks, please set it up. Be comfortable. I'm glad you're here, Patty. Um, Later on, I'm gonna give the Zoom link. I'm gonna talk about the Zoom link. We could do weekly sessions. Hey, what's up, Carter Gooden? Hi, how you doing? Are you Taino? If anyone's Taino, write it down. If you're an ally, write it down. Wherever you're from, please write in the comments. I'm glad you're here. Everyone's welcome. Just eating some popcorn here, trying to get into that sacred space. It's always good to get into that sacred space when you talk about God and you eat some good popcorn, some sacred popcorn. Very important. So today I'm going to talk about. Oh man, I gotta stop doing that. If I spit, I'm not. That's not. I gotta see. I gotta stop eating popcorn. Sorry about that. Today we're going to talk about Taino God, God, Taino. Is this Taino God different from any other God? We're going to talk about that today. If you have any questions, please shoot it out. Hey, hello, Jesus Bueno, buen rostro. Español, habla español. Por toda la gente que están en el Caribe, yo sé que mucha gente ve mis videos de República Dominicana, Puerto Rico. Bienvenido, muchas gracias, Mabrica. Welcome. I'm working on my Taino dialect so I can speak more Taino on Taino Fun House. One of my good old friends, Javier Hernandez, he's the one that wrote Borinquenique. And also now it's called Taino Aniki. So I've been researching that more. To clarify for the chat, I am a Taino descendant. All right, we got some Tainos in the house. That DNA is alive and well. I was just talking to someone before, and according to the archaeologists, right? 8,000 years of indigenous history in the Caribbean. So you got 8,000 years up to 1492. That's a lot of years. That's a lot of DNA right there. a lot of heritage. All right. So today I'm going to use a reference. Back in the late 80s, I read a book called The Cave of the Hagua by an Anthony Arroyo Stevens or Antonio. And it's a book that changed my life because I don't know if a lot of people know this in this chat, but I used to be a Franciscan friar. What does that mean? It's a religious order in the Roman Catholic Church that follows the ways of Saint Francis of Assisi. And before that, I was a seminarian for the Diocese of Brooklyn. So most of my education came from the Catholic Church. I came really, really close of becoming a missioner for the Capuchin Franciscans in the New England province. And I learned a lot from the Midwestern province. I met a man called Father Charlie Robinson, who's no longer with us on earth, but he introduced me to the Crow Nation. He paid my ticket to visit Crow Nation, and there was my first experience of a northern tribe and my first introduction to something that wasn't Catholic, was something that wasn't what I was used to growing up in my childhood, Santeria and spiritualism in the Puerto Rican way. And yet, when I experienced this culture, this Crow spiritual culture, um, it was not different from what I knew and what I felt growing up in Brooklyn, my great grandmother. But something did occur that blew me away instantly. After experiencing the ceremonies, instantly I wanted to become just like the medicine men that I was witnessing in their sermon. I wanted to become just like them. So there was no turning back. Eventually, I left the religious order and I started following the Taino way. And one of the books that influenced me was The Cave of the Hagua. It was my first Taino book that I read that talked about the sacred stories, the sacred origins of the Taino spiritual way. And Jorge Stevens, who's now retired, I got to meet him once. I sat in one of his lectures talking about Taino spirituality, referencing the Cave of the Hagua. Um, and let me tell you something. What I learned from childhood with Piritimo, what I learned from the Crow, what I learned from the Cave of the Hagua, it changed my life completely. Where I dedicate my existence to the Taino way. I was remembering not too long ago. I was remembering how I was in psychotherapy as I was transitioning from the Franciscan way to the civilian way to Taino way. And I remember a psychotherapist was telling me, I think one of the problems you have, you're obsessed by this Taino culture. So I looked at him like, really? You think I'm obsessed? He's like, yeah, you're so obsessed. You keep talking about Taino culture. And I looked at him and I says, okay, if you call this an obsession, then I must be doing good. So of course I fired him, and I knew that this obsession, according to society, it was so different. It was so different to them. So today I'm going to share with my insight of what I've learned for like what good 30 years from the Cave of the Hog when I first read that book to my experiences with Taino communities, my continuation working with native tribes here in the north, also South America, the Mayan, and so on. But let me root myself to what I understand as Taino spirituality. Taino spirituality for me represents organic matter. Okay? When I think of Taino spirituality, when I feel Taino spirituality, I'm thinking of organic matter. What does that mean? I'm thinking of the earth. I'm thinking of the plants. I'm thinking of the flowers. I'm thinking of all the teas my great grandmother gave me so I can be better health wise. I'm thinking of all those grandmas that I still see, those abuelas, that they use those teas, those herbal teas, to make you feel better. And they rely on those teas more than the pills that the Western doctors give. So when I think of Taino spirituality, I'm thinking of organic matter. I'm thinking of something you can touch, see, feel, taste. I'm talking about empirical evidence, data. Okay? This is how I see Taino spirituality. Israel is God's chosen people, will bring heaven on earth. Whoa! Okay, we got some King Alfred. Okay, biblical prophecy. Okay, so we got a perspective of a God through the prophecy of the, I guess, the Hebrew scriptures. Man, I had to study that for 10 years. I know a lot about the Hebrew scriptures. I know about the Christian scriptures. But once again, when I started reading about the Cave of the Hagua, the stories that was written down by Ramon Panay and his assistant, his linguist assistant, his translator, Juan Mateo, what I realized was that Taino culture is not just organic matter, but it's also the oral tradition never died. It did not die. It refused to die. So what I'm about to share tonight might influence you if you are Taino, or it might upset you, especially those that rely on biblical prophecy. And I don't want to insult anyone. I don't want to insult any Taino who's a Christian, Muslim. I'm friends with many. Um, so here's the thing. When you read the Ramon Panay, his account, sanctioned by Christopher Columbus, and I mentioned this before in a lot of the stories here, a lot of videos, they mention about Yúcahu, Bagua, Maórocoti. Yúcahu, Bagua, Maórocoti, which is the three-pointer. Right here, this is my Yúcahu. It's made out of sandstone. That's the 3 points. As if you see the eyes. This is a sacred being. This represents the spirit of the Yucca. Hold on a second. Got some Yucca here. So this is the spirit of the Yucca. When you think of Yucca, we think of our daily bread as Taino. So once again, you see the link between organic matter and Taino spirituality. So Yúcahu, Bagua, Maórocoti, Yúcahu, the spirit of the Yucca, Bagua, the sea, and Maórocoti with no beginning. So when they were telling Bane about who is your God, our Mexiques and Caciques said, oh, Yúcahu, Bagua, Maórocoti. And then they stopped them and said, wait a minute, before we go on, he also had a mother. And his mother is Atabey. Now, Atabey, I don't know about you, but if you're talking about a creator, Yúcahu, Bagua, Maórocoti, you're talking about a supreme being, right? The language of the Western way, the supreme being or ultimate reality. But when you talk about a creator, you talk about the number one, right? The ultimate reality. But it just didn't stop there. Our ancestors says, oh, wait a minute. This Yúcahu had a mother. Now, I don't know about you. A creator having a mother? So here she is. So I always put Yúcahu with his mother. Okay, I always put them together in my altar. In future shows, I'm gonna give some examples how you can set up your own altar. Oh man, peace. Ecuador 0007. Awesome. Glad you can be here. So I'm gonna make a pledge to everyone who wants to learn or who even cares. So I can help your spirituality. I'm gonna start doing some ceremonies, both here at home and also in the woods. So any Taino That's learning about God, the Taino God, or the supreme being, or the unmoved mover, or creator. In a Taino way is mother and son. That supreme mother creator represents the feminine, the son, the birth, the spirit of the birth represents the masculine in Yúcahu. Again, organic matter like Yucca, clay. Now this I also have another representation of Yúcahu, another sacred object that I have. And this is right here is a 3-pointer as well. I'm not gonna go much into the details of the 3-pointer, Yúcahu, or Semi. But I just want to just throw some seeds out, okay? And future shows, I'm going to go really deep into it. And then, for those that are interested, we'll go deeper, deeper, deeper on some private chats through Zoom, okay? So, that's where we start. Now, when you read the account by Ramon Panay, he just doesn't stop with the mom and the son. In the cave of the Hagua, Antonio Stevens makes an amazing discovery. And oops, sorry, man, this parkour. Sorry about that, guys. Um, Yúcahu represents that life. He represents fruitfulness, but also in creation that we know as human beings, there is fruitfulness, but also there is. Hold on, let me look at my notes. I'm sorry, I don't want to get confused. There's an inversion of that life, which is death. Okay, so in our Taino spirituality, we have abundant life, but we also have death. So Yúcahu represents life, the Yucca, our daily bread. But also on the other flip side of the power of Yúcahu, you have Maórocoti Guayaba, which represents the Lord of the dead. Okay, and this is the symbol of the guayaba berry that you see the bats coming out at night from the caves and eating the guayaba berry. Those are the spirits, the ancestors that come in the form of the opias, the bats. So once again, organic matter. We're looking at physical occurrences our ancestors witnessed through what, 8,000 years or so of Caribbean living. So so here's the influence of Taino spirituality, the Taino God. We have Yúcahu, the sun. We have Atabey. But then on the flip side of Yúcahu, we have death. We have Maórocoti Guayaba, the Lord of the dead. And there's a place where the dead go. Those dead spirits. Guave. So I'm just going to briefly explain this, get more into details in future shows. Um, Now, on Yúcahu's side, the masculine side, the fruitfulness side, you have Brahma, and Brahma is the guardian of workers, according to what Pane was writing. And also, the opposite of Brahma was Obiegwa Beyond, the guardian of the dead. Usually, it's a dog deity. So, you're probably thinking right now, wait, is this, you're talking about God? Or are you talking about gods? Well, you hold on to that thought. On the fruitful side, we have Baraguabael as well. And Guababael works as a twin to Brahma, which is the fire, the guardian of the workers. Also, the use of fire to clear the land. So Baraguabael is the guardian of plants, animals, and the and just nature in general. So we have that energy of. Don't worry about the words for now, but Baraguabael. But on the opposite of Baraguabael, we have Corocote, which works at night. Corocote is the spirit of romance, love, sex, all of that good stuff. And that's Corocote, which happens at night. Now, on the feminine side, we have Atabey. Again, she's representing the earth. She's representing the rivers, especially the ponds that are nice and cool, are nice and peaceful. Now, the opposite of her, the inversion part, is Guabancex. Now, Guabancex is the symbol of the hurricane, the winds that come from the ocean, and is a destroyer. Organic matter. When you look at Guabancex, you're looking at the power of the hurricane, but you're also looking at the power of the menstrual cycle. So while Atabey represents the aspect of birth, lactation, pregnancy, the opposite of Guabancex represents death. Okay, represents the the menstrual cycle. Now, Attabeira, she has two guardians, two assistants, two twins, and that is Maharu. When you see Maharu, the spirit of Maharu, what do you see? You see the sun. You see no clouds. It's a sunny day. And as everyone knows, we need the sun for the plants to grow. Now, Boinayed is the twin of Maharu, and Boinayed represents the gray serpent sun that brings the fertile rain, the gray clouds. Now, the opposite of them two, which work with Guabancex, is Guataubá, and that's the thunder. In the northern tradition, in the southern tradition, well, that's the crier, warning the people something is going to happen. And then, last but not least, Coatrisquie, another guardian, another assistant of Guabancex, and that carries the huge water, the deluge that comes from the mountains, and it can destroy the whole village. So right now, I just mentioned 12 names, 12 sacred beings. Now, my 2026 lenses as a Taino, modern Taino, contemporary Taino male, I'm looking at this Taino God not as 12, but I'm looking at one God with 12 faces. Okay? One God with 12 faces. Because remember, our ancestors did not have the internet, our ancestors did not have libraries, our ancestors did not have technology like that. But what we did have that was excellent and far superior to many other cultures was we can examine organic matter, we can examine the stars, the cosmos, and we can make sense of it. We can make sense of the order, the meaning of what's around us. So we give it names, not to put it in a box, but we give it different faces. But behind these masks, behind these faces, is that power, that supreme power, that creator. Now, we can never, and I read the text over and over and over again, and our ancestors were brilliant. They understood as human beings, you cannot put God in a box. But what you can do is you can celebrate God's presence in the world through organic matter. That's right. The harvest, the birth, the death, it's all around us. It's organic. So we give God many faces. Now, this is my personal opinion. You can disagree with it. You can disagree with me. I definitely believe that this force, our ancestors, this life force, our ancestors were not so much interested in naming this life force, naming naming this life force. They were more interested in how to celebrate the life force. He's doing yoga on the wall. Yeah, man. Found this at a thrift shop, and I kind of love the colors. Reminds me of kindergarten. Hey, it's Taino Fun House. You gotta have fun. So thank you, but I don't do yoga. It kind of very challenging for me, yoga. I love Tai Chi though. So I'm a Tai Chi practitioner actually. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. For those that don't understand this, maybe it's the first time listening to this stuff. Maybe you're not Taino, but hey, I want you to think about it. When you live your life day in and day out, what do you see around you? Do you see your family? Do you see your friends, your colleagues? Do you see criminals? Do you see missioners? What do you see? Okay. And how do you see them? What's the meaning you put behind all these experiences? Okay? Because everything around us is alive. Okay? And everything around us is also dead. You know? This substance right here behind me, it looks like a yoga mat or a kindergarten mat. Check this out. It's dead matter, but it also contains millions of atoms put together creates this substance. And that's the power of life force, where we can take one atom, we create a building, we create a canoe, we can create whatever we want, man. I'm telling you, as long as we follow the principles of construction. But we also, many of us follow the principles of destruction. We want to destroy one another. We want to destroy. We want to eliminate. And that's also part of the life force. So we have the life force of life, substance, and we have another, within the force, we have this force of destruction, like the hurricane. But in the Taino spirituality, it's not good, it's not evil, it's energy. And when you look at that energy, you're looking at a life force that's constructive and destructive. So, my understanding of Taino spirituality is based on rhythm. Okay, it's rhythm. How do we maintain the rhythm of constructive energy and destructive energy? How do we maintain that balance? Well, for me, I like to use the word rhythm, and this is why our ancestors were so much into music, the rattle, the drum, the beats. You know, you get African drummers, you get Korean, Japanese drummers, Taino drummers, North American. Put them in a room, and they'll play their rhythms, and you're gonna see people stand up, and they're gonna dance. It's our nature. It's our way. It's natural to be in rhythm. I know. Some of us may not have rhythm. I understand that, but that's all right. We work on it. So Taino spirituality, Taino God. Yes, you might read in these books that says 12 semis and 12 sacred beings, but I'm telling you, it's a human experience, a Taino human experience, and trying to figure out what's this life force all about. That circle with the dot in the middle. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, I'd like to thank you for tuning in. And this is just a little throwing seeds out there. Thank you, all you comments, for all you people who are listening. If you believe in the Hebrew God, Allah, maybe you follow philosophies like Buddhism or Taoism and so on. Hey, we all as human beings, every culture has a small t, which is called truth. But the ultimate truth, the huge T, we have to respect one another. We have to respect our views. We have to respect the data, that how we interpret the data, how we interpret the organic matter. Wow, let's respect. Let's end all these damn wars, for God's sake. Whoa, kama, Yúcahu, Bagua, Maórocoti. Whoa, Yúcahu, Bagua, Maórocoti. Atabey, Suimako. Wherever you are, I'd like to thank you once again, and I'll see you soon. I'll be back talking about this Taino God. Peace out, and I'll see you soon. Oh, before I go, I forgot to mention, please hit me up, Taino Fun House at proton.me, proton.me. If you're interested in private classes relating to Taino God or the Taino way, You can bring your own popcorn, and we're gonna have some fun, okay? So just let me know if you're interested. Taino Fun House at proton.me, and also the Taino Survivors Network. It's all about healing, okay? And oh wait, hold on a second. Before I go, there was a view. There was a message that needed to be viewed. Yeah, I can't repeat that. You know, I leave these lives up to the everyone to hear, everyone to see and to participate. But nah, I'm not gonna. Oh, I'm not hating. Okay, I'm being asked if I'm gay or not. Oh, nah, bro. Nah. Well, let me just tell you, man. I'm just a human being trying to live the like this experience before I die, man. Before I go back to the spirit world. So it doesn't matter if you're straight, gay, lesbian, whatever, man. It's about enjoying life. That's what it's about. My Taino God tells me to enjoy this organic matter, enjoy life. You know, not just look meaning into it, but be that meaning. Just don't look for it, be it. You know. So yeah, I know you say you're not hating. That's cool, man. You know, we have a lot of names for our humans here in this world. We're Homo sapien. Many of us are Jewish. Many of us are African. Many of us are Lakota. Many of us are Canadians. You know, Australians. You name it. We all have different names. Yep, we're in 2026, bro. You're right. We don't hate on people for what they do anymore. That's the goal. But in 2026, I see a lot of wars still going on. I see a lot of starvations. I see a lot of systems don't really honor every Homo sapien. So we have a lot of more work to do. More work to do. But that's all right. We got each other. And you're welcome here in the Taino Fun House. Okay? God bless you. Thanks for your comments. And hey, I'll see you all soon. I'll be back. Peace out. All right. Have a good night. Thank you, bro. Thank you for your comments and thank you for everything.